Good morning, traders. It's Mark here from the day trading room. Time is 25 past 11 on a Tuesday morning, London time. Want to review yesterday's trades. Did a few trades pre-market, which is why I got the pre-market, my pre-market screen up here in front of you. Um, Obviously, very busy in the morning. Not so much in the afternoon. It's tailed off a bit, and then we got the little bit of a surprise push up into the close. But yeah, let's discuss some of the trades. Obviously, the news came out that the outlook for the USA had been downgraded slightly by the S&P, so that hit the markets pretty hard. Now, I have other markets up like the euro, the yen at the moment. I've still got the yen up from the previous nuclear thing in Japan, of course. So that's been fueling fire. So I've still got that market up. I've got euro up there. I've got DAX up. I've got oil. So when something happens and you see the market spiking down, the first thing I do is glance over to my other markets. Even if you haven't got enough screens that you can have them up all the time, if you've got them available to you so you can look at them quickly, you can then tell without having to scour through news, which is often late, if something is important. If all the markets are moving, you don't need to know which direction the correlation is between all the markets. If there's volume coming in and there are good candle movements in all the markets, then and continued good movement, not just one candle but two candles. Once we get into the second candle and there hasn't been a push back on all the markets, then you can assume that there's some sort of reprice coming in, some sort of news. And that was the point that I saw this on Monday. I was here waiting for the open, just analysing, and all of a sudden, bang! This candle comes in. I look across. I see the euro spiking, yen spiking. I see all the markets that I'm watching doing something, so I can assume there has been some news. There's no news scheduled, so I can assume that something has come out. So what I did is I just watched the market, watched the tape, watched it hammered down, and I took a short at 91 or 92, I believe. It might have been 93. It was around the mid 90 area. I haven't got my blotter up at the moment, but yeah, it was around the 90 area. And anyway, I took a 20 point target straight off, all out 20 points. At that point, I wasn't sure, is this going to drive lower, and I also am aware that it can snap back at any time. So even though it was a bit of a chase, and the size was adjusted to suit the fact that it was a bit of a chase, the fact that the market was running so strong, and I felt that I caught it early enough, I thought that we would do at least 3 bars. Um, but when we started to put this little tail in here, I was happy with the 20 points, 20 ticks, great. There's something in the bank. Now let's look for the secondary setup, which is that first pullback, let that settle, and then the secondary wave to come and hit it. So that's what I did. I got lucky. Lucky. It is a bit of luck, I was there, but then luck is being prepared and then being presented with an opportunity, and I was prepared as I always am. An opportunity came and I took it, and there was a nice 20 tick grab. And then the second trade was this one. This was a really good trade actually. This was my preferred trade. I don't feel so. My risk is quantified. Obviously, it's above that high, and we're just ready to look for new lows, scale out into the low, um, which was this candle. A little bit deceiving with the candle arrow being there, but it's the top portion of this candle as we approach that low, and this obviously isn't the top of that we were sort of talking about here. So that's only more like a 10 tick scale on there, and then running some, just looking, and again near the top of that candle for the last batch. So, but that's the setup I've spoken about before. It's the continuation setup. This is a reprice as far as I'm concerned. Volume's just gone crazy. Markets just moved in a serious way. Looking at all the other markets, as I've said, gives us confirmation that is a global reprice of some sort. There's the push lower. If you don't do that again. There's the push lower. If you don't get onto that, or if I don't get onto that, that's absolutely fine. I only got onto that purely from a tape reading perspective. I could see the weakness there. I could see the sellers. I did okay. It could have changed in a second. It could have changed like that, and buyers could have stepped in, and I would have been straight out for, maybe an 8 tick loss. I would not have given that any room at all. If you're chasing like that. But anyway, the better trade is to wait for this pullback, which we got here. And you can see then actually it's not very clear on the 1 minute, but you can see how it sort of did get stuck at that at 12,180 level before rolling over again. So once you've spotted that, then you can see the momentum coming in. I mean, even if you're learning tape reading still, and even if it's a skill you're trying to develop, you can still see this pattern um, by the way the market rolls over. By the way, I started to say that, I realise that it's not as clear, but there's a little bit more of a spike in volume on that down candle. As it starts to push lower. Not much, admittedly. So there's a better example. If I was going to use an example, there would be a better one. But you could see it, the flow turning over. You've got your risk quantified, and looking for new lows. Scale some out the low by all means. So that was that. Great, great two trades just based on that. Now I'm waiting. I've got to be careful because even though the likelihood is that this is going to cause a further move lower at some point in the day, you've still got to manage your entry, because at any point it could snap back up and stop you out. You could be chasing lows, snaps up, 15 ticks, stops you out. You could do it again, it snaps up. You've still got to manage your risk. And actually, that caught me out very slightly here. I thought it would just push to a new low. This candle here got me all excited. Good move. Volume started to pick up a bit. Rolled over. I jumped on this candle, and it just didn't want to go. It didn't want to go. I thought we were going to get a little bit of a flush out pre-market open. Didn't, and it popped me up. Fortunately, it went a bit in my way, so I managed to tighten the stop up a little bit, but I still took a small loss on that. So that was that pre-market. Great trades there. Had a little go there, but just because the risk was managed, didn't do too much damage. So let's talk about the actual open. After that, really, I just did two trades. I was really happy with the morning. I'm still looking for short. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for any longs. Write down on your notes. This is no long. There's no longs here unless we start changing the game, or unless we're looking for an exhaustion type scalp. But not in this instance anyway. Anyway, the market opened and the tape was just clear. It was clear that it was selling. It was aggressive selling, and it was what I'd wanted. I'll bring the overnight in here. Actually, hopefully, if I leave that there, you might be able to see both. It's what I wanted back here. I wanted to see this sort of selling here. So anyway, I saw that at the open. It looked like we were going to clear out that low, so I hopped on, and sure enough, we did. We started to pause. That was pretty clear actually that we weren't going any further. And so that was it. I was done with that one. That was a little scalp off the open, as I say, being aware that it could snap against me. Then a second go. Here I wrote ES not low. I think that was on this push lower here. This actually was a little bit of a mistake. It was a great entry, right on that little peak. Again, highest tick of the day. A little volume push up before that. It was just looking beautiful. Just lovely little setup. Love those little setups. Good drive lower. Pre-market's weak. Well down on the day. Longs liquidating. Okay, it's not 100% perfect because you've got the trends up on the 60 on the daily. But nevertheless, I like that sort of thing for another push lower. And you know what? I just got a little feeling of I did not quite like this, because I wanted it to roll over pretty much immediately. And I was out. I was one candle too early, so that was a couple of tips, a scratch, a couple of tick profits. For cover commissions and a sandwich. That's about it. It rolled over then, and I just thought, you've missed this. You've missed this. So let's just sit back. I put in an order around this sort of level again, thinking, okay, well, if it pops and does a little mini double top that's not a double top, it's a double bottom. If it does this sort of thing, revisits and then goes, I might get a second go, and that's what I got. Luckily, I got that. The ticks really struggles to get above zero, so I'm still happy with those. Just missed the fill on that, and I'm thinking, when you're just tempted to start dragging it down, but I thought, okay, I'll just move it a couple of ticks. Anyway, got the fill on there, and as we rolled over, I scaled out into the new lows. This, caught me out a bit. Well, it didn't catch me out because it was a lovely little profit on the trade, no doubt about that. But the ES at that time, I believe, I must have wrote that for a reason. The ES hadn't gone to a new low. Let me bring the screen in for you. Here we are. It's around here, the short on the Dow, but the ES hadn't gone to a new low. So I was thinking, it's potential for it to snap back. So took it all out there. But good trading really. One, two, three, four, five, six trades, and one stop, small stop there, one scratch there. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. One more trade I wanted to talk about, which oh yeah, that was it here. We just started to roll up. We started to roll up. What time was this? New high in the ticks, 7 o'clock. Really the miss of the day actually. Before I go on to that, I know I wanted to keep this video shorter. The miss of the day was this VWAP here. Yeah, this one here. Sorry. Uh, Counter trend cycle up 1545. Here we are. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. But at that point, I decided, enough was enough. I was happy with the trading and didn't want to get involved again. But that really was lovely. First counter trend on the 3 minute. It's a 5 minute now, but whatever oscillator you want to use. First one. I don't look at this any other time apart from this little setup. Push back, and it's come to a resistance level here from support and a VWAP. And that just rolled over beautifully. So hats off to any of you guys who got onto that. Okay, very quickly, two duffer trades here, but I managed to risk it accordingly. This just started to roll up, and I just thought, okay, was expecting a revisit. Um, but it was drifting, so I was careful. I think I got a little bit lucky on this one. I took the short here, went against me a few ticks, rolled down. Because it took so long, and the ticks really had gone quite low, and the price hadn't really followed through. I just took it all out there, and just thought, okay, I'll just grab a bit on that, and I'll look to re-enter. And that's what I did. It pushed up again. I re-entered here. It just started to thought, no, you're in the wrong end of this. You're on the wrong side of this. Don't play this game. So dragged the stop to break even, which it hadn't even gone much in my direction. Popped out. I think I got a little bit of slippage on that, a tick or so. So that cost me a couple of ticks with commission. So, but anyway, it was worth it. It was worth a go. I had had a little bit of a premise that would happen. I wasn't 100% convinced, which is why I didn't really get much room, and probably should have listened to myself here. My gut was telling me that the reason I took that all out there was because I didn't really fancy the trade. I gave it another go, thinking we might get a roll back over to this level, but it didn't work out. But anyway, risk was managed with that. I really wasn't going to risk any decent percentage of the morning's gains. So pleased with that day. We're going to be very patient today. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Okay, good trading, guys. I will back with another video later in the week. Take care.